Hey everyone, let's continue our discussion. Till now, I have uploaded 6 videos, and in my previous video, we were discussing till rise of Magadha Empire and Persian and Greek invasion. So, in this video, we will understand about Mauryan Empire. Okay, before watching this video, kindly watch my previous videos so that you will understand this chapter. Okay, let's start our discussion. As I discussed in my previous video, the last ruler of Nanda dynasty was Dhanananda. He has been dethroned by Chandragupta Maurya and Kautilya. Later, they annexed the Nanda dynasty. Okay, from that time, this Mauryan empire started to grow. Okay, during that period, unity exists among the North Indian kingdoms. Okay, with the help of Kautilya was the chief advisor of Chandragupta Maurya, and also he was called as brilliant man of Mauryan Empire. Okay, with the help of this Kautilya, Chandragupta Maurya expanded his territory. Okay, just remember this. Okay, let's quickly know about sources of Mauryan Empire. We find both literary and archaeological sources. Okay, let's quickly know about literary sources. First literary source was Kautilya's Arthasastra. It has been written in Sanskrit language. Okay, it gives clear picture of Mauryan's administration. Okay, Kautilya is also called as in the name of Chanakya or Vishnugupta. Kindly remember it. Okay. Then second literary source was Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa. It is also written in Sanskrit language. Okay, Mudra Rakshasa is a drama book. Okay, it describes overthrow of Nanda dynasty by Chandragupta Maurya and Kautilya. Okay. Then third literary source was Megasthenes Indica book. Okay, Megasthenes was a Greek ambassador. Okay, he came to Chandragupta Maurya's administration. His book clearly explains about Mauryan administration and also strategic importance of Pataliputra. Pataliputra was the capital city of Mauryan Empire. Okay, can you remember? Then other literatures are Puranas, Buddhist literature such as Jatakas. Then some of the Sri Lankan books written by Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa also explains role of Ashoka in spreading Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Okay. Then let's quickly know about archaeological sources. First archaeological source was Ashoka's inscription. It is known as first script of India. Okay, kindly remember it. It is written in Pali language, Prakrit. In some places, it was found in Brahmi script, Kharosthi script, and Aramic languages. Okay. Then it has been translated by James Princeps in 1839 to understand this script. Okay. Then second archaeological source was 14 major rock edicts of Ashoka. It gives the details of Mauryan Empire. Okay. Then let's quickly know about the founder of Mauryan Empire, that is Chandragupta Maurya. Okay. At the age of 25, he dethroned Nanda dynasty and annexed Pataliputra. Then he made this Pataliputra as a capital city of Mauryan Empire. Okay. Mauryan kingdom was the large kingdom as compared to any other kingdom that ruled in India. Okay, it extended from Indus Valley in northwest to Deccan region in south. Okay, as I said earlier, Kautilya was the chief advisor of the Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, as we discussed in my previous video, after Alexander invasion, his general Seleucus Nicator fought war with Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, in this war, Chandragupta Maurya defeated Seleucus Nicator. Okay, afterward they made treaty. Okay, they made treaty like this. Indus Valley that was in control of Seleucus Nicator was transferred to Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, then Seleucus Nicator's daughter married to Chandragupta Maurya, and also Seleucus Nicator sent Megasthenes to Mauryan court as an ambassador. Okay, we discussed earlier Megasthenes Indica book. Just recall that. Okay. In return to this treaty, Chandragupta Maurya gifted 500 elephants to Seleucus Nicator. Okay. After completing his administration, which means we can say that at the end of his life, Chandragupta Maurya transferred his administration to his son Bindusara. Okay, don't confuse with Bimbisara. Bimbisara was the ruler in Magadha kingdom. Okay, don't confuse with Bimbisara. After transferred his administration to his son Bindusara, he went to Shravana Belagula in Karnataka along with Jainist monk Bhadrababu. Bhadrababu was the founder of Digambara sect of Jainism. Okay, along with Bhadrababu, he went to Shravanabelgola in Karnataka to preach Jainism. Okay, specifically Digambara sect. Okay, later Chandragupta Maurya died with serious ill. Okay, let's quickly know about the successor of Chandragupta Maurya, that is Bindusara. He was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. He was called as slayer of enemies because he defeated 16 rulers and extended his territory more than his father. Okay, as per the Tamil Nadu famous literature, that is Sangama literature, he extended his territory up to Mysore in Karnataka. Okay, Bindusara supported Ajivikas. Ajivikas is the separate religious sect, just like Buddhism and Jainism. This Ajivikas also one of the religious sect during that period. Okay, then Bindusara son was King Ashoka. Okay, then let's quickly know about the successor of Bindusara, that is King Ashoka. He was the great ruler among all kingdom. Okay, he extended his territory up to south. We can say that his territory was border to the South Indian dynasties. Okay, then King Ashoka fought war with Kalinga. This war changed his life. Okay, let's know about it. Reason for war was Kalingas were controlling land and sea route for South India. Very very important. Kindly remember. It was a victorious war for King Ashoka. Okay, the Rock Edict number 13 describes war with Kalinga. Very very important. Kindly remember. Around 1 lakh people were killed in this war, and 1.5 lakh people were taken as prisoners of war by King Ashoka, and Kalinga kingdom was annexed by Ashoka. Okay, then this war changed his, as I said earlier, this war changed his mindset, and he started to embrace Buddhism. Okay, so he made this Buddhism as a state religion during his period. Okay, then that prisoners of war were used for agricultural activities to increase the economy of the kingdom. Okay, then he decided to not wage any kind of war, so he reduced the army strength. Okay, then his central idea was welfare of the humanity. Okay, welfare of humanity was his central idea. So he is called as Ashoka the Great. Okay, he was the great man. Okay, then let's quickly know about Ashoka and Buddhism. He followed Buddhism and became monk around 261 BC. Okay, then he visited most of the sacred places of Buddha, that is Bodh Gaya, where Buddha took the enlightenment. Then Lumbini Garden, where Buddha born. Then Sarnath, where he first gave his sermon. Then Shravasti in UP. Then Kushinagar, where he died. Okay, he visited all sacred places of Buddha. Okay, then King Ashoka sent his son and daughter to Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism. Okay, and also King Ashoka organized third Buddhist council at Pataliputra. Okay, around 250 BC. Okay, kindly remember it. Very very important. Then let's know about Ashoka's Dhamma. Ashoka's Dhamma means his own code of conduct. Okay, after embracing Buddhism, he made Ashoka's Dhammas as his own code of conduct. It is somewhat related to Buddhism, but it's not a Buddhism ideology, but it's own code of conducts. Okay, first Ashoka's Dhamma was a person should serve his parents and also give good treatment to his relatives. Okay, second Dhamma was prohibition of animals sacrifices and avoiding expenses ceremonies. Okay, third one is practice of ahimsa, conquest through dhamma instead of war. Okay, fourth one is no injuries to animals. Okay, fifth one is tolerance among all religious sect and humanity treatment to all. Okay, these were the code of conduct of Ashoka. It is also known as Ashoka's Dhamma. Okay, very very important. Please remember. Let's know about Mauryan's administration. Mauryan administration was just like the present day administration. Okay, let's know about it. Okay, uh, during that period, king rules with the advice of ministers, just like today's prime minister will take advice of council of ministers, right? Just like that, king was taking the advice of ministers. Okay, that ministers are purohitas, which means priest, mahamantri, then senapati was the also known as chief commander, then yuvaraja was the crown prince. Okay, then there exists a recruitment of civil servant. They were known as amartyas. Okay, this selection of amartyas ideas were given by Kautilya. Okay, then let's quickly know about revenue department of Mauryan kingdom. During that period, revenue department was exist. That chief of the revenue department was called as Samharta. Very very important. Please remember, Samharta means chief of the revenue department. His responsibility was collecting the revenue from different sources. Revenue came from land, agriculture, shop, forest, and mine. Okay. Then 1/6 of the agricultural produce was given to king. Okay. Then main expenditures were salary to army personals and government servants. Then for public work, then religious purpose they were making some expenses. Then for poor relief they were making some expenses. Okay, let's quickly know about the army strength of Mauryan dynasty. Senapati was the chief of the army during Mauryan kingdom. Okay, salary was paid in cash depending upon the rank of military officials. Okay, Mauryan army consisted of 6 lakhs infantry, 30,000 cavalries. Cavalries means camels. Okay, 9,000 elephants and 8,000 chariots. Okay, no need to remember numbers, just remember like that only. Then there was a separate wing. Okay, that is called as navy supply and transport wings. These wings were headed by adhyakshas or superintendents. Okay, very very important, please remember. Then let's quickly know about department of commerce and industry. This department was controlling the prices of goods. Okay, then let's quickly know about judicial department. That judicial department during the Mauryan kingdom was same as the present day judicial department. Okay, there exist both criminal and civil courts. Okay, that the chief justice of supreme court was called as Dharmadhikarin. Okay, please remember, very very important keyword. Okay, then subordinate courts were headed by amartyas. Amartyas means civil servant. Okay, then there exist a different kind of punishment for offenders. They were just like today's which means punishment. There existed death penalty, imprisonments, and fine also. Okay, for offenders. Then they were conducting census also during that time. Okay, for village in village officials taking the census regularly. The parameters of this census were caste, occupations, and animal counts. Okay, in towns, municipal officials were taking the census. They were tracking the movement of foreign population and indigenous people. Okay, in the municipal authority. Okay, then let's quickly know about provincial and local administration. Mauryan's empire was divided into 4 provinces, that is with their capitals at Ujjain, Taxila, then Suvarnagiri and Kalinga. Okay, kindly remember it. Then the governors of these provinces were responsible for collection of taxes and maintaining law and order. Okay, please remember. Then the district administration was under Rajukas. Rajukas means present day district collectors are there, right? Then just like that, they were calling as Rajukas. Okay. Then Yuktas. Yuktas means they were assisting these Rajukas. Okay. Then in village administration, Gramani was the head of the village. Then Gopa means head of 10 to 15 village. Okay, kindly remember these keywords, very very important. Okay, let's quickly know about Mauryan art and architecture. They were used stone to make the monuments, very very important line. Okay, please remember. This Aryan art and architecture were classified into pillars, caves, and stupas. Okay, let's quickly know about the pillars. Features of pillars are they are highly polished, they are monolithic, and they are independent structure, which means they are not attached to any structure. They are the independent structure. Kindly remember these three sentences, very very important. Okay. Then Ashokan pillars with inscriptions were found in Delhi, Sanchi, then Sarnath and Allahabad. Okay. The pillars top were crowned with animals like lion, elephant, bulls. Very very important. Please remember. Then the Sarnath pillar with four lions standing back to back is the national emblem of India. Very very important. Okay. Please remember. Then let's know about caves. Caves were presented to Ajivikas. Ajivikas, as I said, it was the separate religion by Ashoka and his son Dasharatha. Okay, these caves interior walls are polished like mirror. Okay, they were the residences of monks. We can say that caves were the residences of monks. Residences of monks were called as viharas. I explained in Buddhism chapter. Viharas means a dwelling place of monks. Kindly recall that. Okay. Then caves at Barabar Hills near to Bodh Gaya in Bihar are wonderful Mauryan art architectures. Kindly remember, very very important. Okay. Let's quickly know about stupas. King Ashoka built number of stupas, but due to many foreign invasion, uh, many stupas were destroyed. Okay, remaining stupa is Sanchi stupa in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, kindly remember. It was originally built with bricks. Kindly remember, very very important sentence. Okay. Then let's quickly know about Ashoka's inscriptions. Major here in Ashokan inscriptions we find rock edicts and some other inscriptions also. Many major and minor rock edicts found, around total 14 major and minor rock edicts are there in Ashoka's inscriptions. Okay, but this 14 rock edicts describes the different administration of the Mauryan Empire. Okay, in this rock number 2 and 13 describes Sangama and other South Indian kingdoms, and also specifically rock edict number 13 mentions Ashoka's victory over Kalinga. Kindly remember, very very important guys. Kindly remember, which means rock edict number 2 and 13 describes Sangama and South Indian kingdoms, and also rock edict number 13 mentions Ashoka's victory over Kalinga. Very very important. Okay. Then this sentence is very very important guys. Please remember, the name of Ashoka was mentioned in minor rock edict that was found in Maski in Raichur districts in Karnataka. Very very important. Kind of remember. Okay. Then all other rock edicts, remaining rock edicts, which means remaining 13 rock edicts are there, right? That edicts of Ashoka were mentioned in the name of Devana Pa Piyadasi. Very very important. It is it means dearest of God. Means it this the meaning of Devanam Pa Piyadasi means dearest of God. Okay, please remember. Okay, only one rock edict that Ashokan name was mentioned is Maski edict in Raichur district of Karnataka. Very very important. Okay. Then Ashokan inscriptions were also found in Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal. In these four countries, Ashokan inscriptions were found. Okay. These Ashokan inscriptions were written in Prakrit. They were also found in Brahmi script in the Indian subcontinents. Okay. In northwestern India, they were found in Kharosthi script and also Aramic languages. Okay. Kindly remember. Let's quickly know about decline of Mauryans. It has declined around 185 BC. The main reasons for decline of Mauryans were King Ashoka's successor were very weak. Okay. Then second reason was Ashoka started to preach Buddhism and also he reduced his army strength. Okay. Then third reason was division of the kingdom, which means after King Ashoka, this Mauryan Empire divided into Eastern and Western dynasty. Okay. So as I said, Mauryan kingdom divided into two parts, that is western and eastern. Okay. Then later, this western part was controlled by Kunal, King Kunal. King Kunal was the son of Ashoka. Okay. Then eastern part was controlled by Dasharatha. He was the grandson of Ashoka. Okay. Later, this eastern part was controlled by Brihadratha. Brihadratha. Okay. Then he was the last ruler of Mauryan kingdom. Okay. Brihadratha. Brihadratha was killed by his commander of chief Pushyamitra Sunga. Very very important. Please remember. Brihadratha Dratha was killed by his commander of chief Pushyamitra Sunga. Okay. Later, this Pushyamitra Sunga started his new dynasty, that is called as Sunga dynasty. Okay. After decline of Mauryan empire, Sunga dynasty started. So that we will discuss in the next video, that is post Mauryan period chapter, where we will discuss Sunga dynasty, then Kanva dynasty, and Satavahanas will come. Satavahanas were also called as Andhras. Okay. That we will discuss in the upcoming video. Okay. Okay, I am stopping here. This much is sufficient, guys. So do watch and revise partially, so that it will be useful, and share with your friends. Okay. Thank you.